what are things like right now, like obviously we had talked a little bit before jumping on the podcast. What are some of the things that you pivoted over the last couple months with the weather not really there? You guys had a really mild weather winter over on the East Coast. We got slammed with rain and all kinds of stuff on this side. But what are things that you're able to implement to keep your guys moving and keep the money coming in?
Yeah, so New York, historically, by now, we would have had at least 4 weeks of really cold or extreme cold temperatures. And this is the first New York that I can remember in a long time where we had literally 2.5 days of extreme cold, and that's it from November until now. And so, for we bank on hot summers and cold winters, right? And so we exhausted our outbound calling literally from mid-November through. We mildly were tapping into it in November, going through December, January, February, and just that database of the internal customers we already had, text blasts, ringless voicemail blasts, email blasts, and thank God those have kept us moving this entire time. And just the process inside the home, Victor, I'm sure you're similar to us, right? Where we slow it down. We're on each call about a minimum of an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. We inform and educate. We look at everything. So even a maintenance, right? We look at maintenances just the same as we look at service calls. If the system's 10 plus, it's just as valuable as a service call that has no heat. So we look at opportunity the same for every single call. And then, recently we dove into water quality treatment, Halo. We didn't really have an option, right? So again, it's like you're going to let life hit you or let the weather hit you and dictate. And no, we pivot, we'll find other avenues. So we dove into water quality treatment. I mean, we're still up right now year over year. I think we're up like 298%, which is incredible for us, even with the mild weather. But it's outbound calling and really tapping into the resources that you have in your fingertips. And, I don't know if you sell air scrubbers or not. Do you, Victor?
Yeah, we actually sold 4 of them already today, which is nice.
So for those of you listening that maybe you're going through a mild time right now, just a simple, any client that bought a air scrubber for us in the last 2.5 years, we called them and we opened water quality treatment, and it's the same exact customer for the air scrubbers and the same exact candidate for water quality treatment. So we're setting up free water quality, indoor health quality site surveys, and we have been slamming halos like at the snap of a finger. It's been incredible.
So just that's some free game right there. If you guys aren't listening, circle back to what Amanda just said there. She's literally giving you free game. If you have a business that's able to install halos and stuff like that, that's free game, free money. So you guys are welcome for that. Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, it's something I learned. That's where you got to get creative with your database, right? On Valentine's Day, we ran some crazy special that I would have never ran, but it was 55 degrees in the middle of February when it should be -5. So we ran like a $49 safety check on Valentine's Day, and we literally had over 50 messages on Podium coming in of people wanting to book it. And I'm like, by the grace of God, that stemmed us all the way through to the end of the month too. Even if we get a dip of weather, we get some calls here and there, but we've been real creative in keeping our people moving.
Yeah, and a lot of people are they're always wondering, like, how do the big guys keep working? Like, how do they keep moving? And obviously, some guys don't have databases, but realistically, if you've been in business for a couple of years and you have enough calls in there to keep you busy, right? Unless you've outgrown, like if you've grown exponentially, then your old calls aren't going to be able to keep up with it. But if you're around the same size as 2 years ago, just call the same people you're already at. And, a lot of people don't realize like the amount of money that's sitting in their database. So every single month, we do obviously daily ROI tracking on marketing. So every day and every month, almost consistently, it's our existing customers, repeat customers, same people that have already been with us. And most of it doesn't come from them calling us, right? Like you can't, like this time of year, like the same thing we're saying, you can sit back and cry and yell at your marketing company and do all these things. But in reality, you have to go fishing right now. You got to go out there and be a hunter, right? You can't sit back and wait for that shit to come to you. You got to go out and get it. Almost every one of my calls, and obviously we started a company called Rocket Bookings to help companies with this, but I use the Rocket Bookings rather than making my internal staff call. I use them to call all day, and we 900, probably said almost like 1,000 of our calls this year have come from outbound calling our database. And most of them are people we haven't been to in a couple of years. Like we're just cold calling to people and selling, $70 tune-ups, $80 tune-ups.
Yeah. It's got to get creative, right? That's the most successful business owners. They get creative and they know how to innovate and keep moving forward.